Armed and masked anti-terrorism police have descended on woodland villages in northeast Paris. That's in a manhunt for two brothers suspected of being the gunmen who killed 12 people at a French satirical magazine. Officers carried out house-to-house searches in the village of Corcy, where police sources said the brothers were sighted in ski masks. The fugitive suspects were French-born sons of Algerian-born parents, both in their early 30s and already under police surveillance. France, meanwhile, has held a day of national mourning.
Silence in Paris, a minute being observed across France. And in other locations around Europe, to remember the 12 people killed in the attack on Charlie Hebdo, a satirical newspaper. Former French President Nicolas Sarkozy expressed his sadness.
France has to unite in the face of this brutal attack. Civilized society must unite in the face of this barbarism.
But as Paris was mourning the death of the 12 at the Charlie Hebdo HQ, a policewoman was shot dead in the southern part of the city. Police have been reluctant to link the two incidents, however. France's largest manhunt has taken over the whole country to find the men. Pictures of the suspects were released by police, and 7 arrests thought to be their relations were made. Journalists in Paris say you can feel the shock of the attack on the streets.
There was a sign up outside school warning about this heightened security level, about the attacks, police cars outside schools, armed police outside religious buildings. You know, you can see it on the streets. And the government knows that they have to show a police force on the streets of Paris now to kind of restore any kind of calm.
Back at the scene, the marks of the shootings remain for the public to see. And despite the brutal attack at the offices just behind me here, former journalists at Charlie Hebdo say they will ensure that the next issue is released on time. Jack Parrick, SABC News, Paris.
Since the shootings at the Charlie Hebdo office in Paris, social media has been inundated with cartoons showing solidarity. Here at home, a show of force from the pencil point.
Cartooning has always been extreme. We only have visuals to work with. We don't have fancy words. We just have visuals, so we have to make our point heard visually. So we've always been extreme.
In a statement, the South African Editors Forum says this criminal act creates an unnecessary and false tension between religious freedom and freedom of speech. And it's clear editors refuse to be silenced by these attacks.
It doesn't mean that because people have been killed, then media practitioners must step back and not exercise their right to freedom of speech.
The freedoms are enshrined in the Constitution.
These rights are specified in terms of academic freedom all the way to media freedom. The only exceptions to freedom of expression, as stipulated in the Constitution, relate to the kind of speech where one tries to promote propaganda for war, secondly, if you are promoting violence, or thirdly, you're promoting hate speech.
About 12,600 kilometers away in Paris, 10 journalists were denied this right. The gunmen shouting, "We have avenged the Prophet Muhammad," intolerance which has been condemned by the Muslim leaders.
We stand for the values of the preservation of life, as that is a prime value in the teachings of Islam. We urge the international community to look at it in light of its brutality as a very irresponsible terrorist attack and not in light of Islam.
Pretoria joined the chorus of condemnation.
The South African government stands with the international community and will continue to support regional and international efforts to address the scourge of terrorism in our society.
Jerzy Charlie, I am Charlie. Aldrin Simpier, SABC News, Johannesburg.